Hello world, welcome back to Razor RC. It's time to do another head-to-head comparison video. This time between my Traxxas Slash and the Team Associated SC6.1. So a lot of you viewers that have been watching my channel know that I did a build series on the Traxxas Slash two-wheel drive. So I took a box stock Traxxas Slash, basically did one modification a week for like 13 weeks and finally ended up with a fully race prepped Traxxas Slash. I did race this a little bit last year, and so this is what I call my evil slash, basically like a $1,000 slash. I don't actually know how much I spent on it, but it's somewhere around there. And then here on the right I've got my Team Associated SC6.1. This is the latest and greatest two-wheel drive short course race kit on the market today, arguably the best two-wheel drive short course race kit. And so the big question I want to answer is this Traxxas Slash better than a Team Associated SC6.1? You know, after putting in a bunch of money, a bunch of tuning, a bunch of time, is it actually better? Which, you know, how does it compare? How does it perform? So let's get into it. So over here on the Traxxas Slash, we'll go through it real quick. Take off the body. This is a Proline Tundra body. And then over here on the right, I've got my SC6.1 with the Fusion Flowtech body. So here's the two kits. On the left, I've got the Traxxas Slash. So this is fully modified. I mean, there's almost no stock parts left. I actually had so many stock parts left over that I was able to build a completely new Traxxas Slash two-wheel drive that I ended up giving to my nephew. But yeah, as you can see, an LCG chassis, ProTrack suspension from Proline. I've got the ProTrack shock towers, actually with carbon fiber reinforcements. Got the TLR22 SCT shocks. I've got aluminum camber blocks and caster blocks inside the Proline ProTrack turnbuckles. The little fiberglass what do you call it? I guess hinge pin brace. Down the middle, we've got basically a shorty battery conversion. I've got inline electronics, SandWah receiver that I run with my SandWah radio. Obviously, low-C sized wheels and tires. In the back, actually, some of my favorite pieces, I've got a Team Associated VTS 3-pad slipper clutch conversion with the STRC top shaft. I've actually got a ball differential from Traxxas, the Pro Ball Diff, 8.5 turn censored motor, 120 amp ESC. I've got titanium gear servo up front with aluminum hot racing steering bell cranks, STRC hardened hinge pins. So yeah, I've got the HD drive shafts from the Slash 4x4. There's probably other stuff I've done, aluminum hexes, yada yada yada. Basically, just about every modification that actually makes this truck go faster. Now, there are other things possible. You can do like a mid-motor conversion with a Chuckworks chassis, but I was trying to keep it at least a Traxxas chassis. So that way it's obviously a Traxxas Slash. So yeah, fully converted, race prepped Traxxas Slash. Spent a lot of time tuning and getting that thing ready. And then over here on the right, I've got my Team Associated SC6.1. So pretty much a stock truck. I've got some weights added, like a brass C-block. You can obviously see the steel battery. Weight there in the middle, some weights up front, but 120 amp ESC, SandWah receiver, titanium gear servo, and an 8.5 turn motor. And other than that, it's pretty much all stock. So I'm going to rate these two in a bunch of different categories, tell you my thoughts on how they are in comparison to each other. And it's just kind of the normal stuff. And we're going to eventually pick a winner at the very end. So the first thing is the build. Now the Team Associated obviously is a kit. You just follow the instructions, you put it together, and 6 to 8 hours later, you've got a full race truck. The Traxxas Slash, I had to build basically piece by piece. There's no real instructions to build this particular truck. You've got to just kind of figure out how things are going to go together. What size shocks you need to buy. Where you should mount the camber links. There's not a whole lot. There's a whole lot more tuning you're going to have to do to kind of get to this stage. So build-wise, obviously, I'm going to give it to the Team Associated. It's just a complete kit. You just put it together and you're ready to go, and it'll be fairly competitive out of the box. The Traxxas Slash obviously will require a lot more time to get it to basically race spec, but that's kind of the fun for me. But overall, in terms of the build, Team Associated obviously wins. Next category is the design. So over on the left, Traxxas Slash is quite different than the Team Associated. You've got the plastic LCG chassis, rear motor obviously. You got the forward mounted standard bell crank system. What else is there? I don't know. Plastic drive shafts, 3-gear transmission. Stock, it comes with basically a gear diff without any oil in it, so obviously you got to change that. Got the inline battery. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, servos in different locations. On the right, you've got the Team Associated SC6.1 with the aluminum chassis. You got the lay down or lay back transmission, 3-gear. You got the reverse bell crank system here in the steering up front. There's a lot more adjustments on the Team Associated just for tuning. So obviously you can raise and lower the diff height. You can raise and lower the axles. A lot more adjustments for shock location, positions, camber link location positions, that sort of thing. In addition, they make sway bars, a lot of like sort of race type accessories to try to basically tune the truck to your liking. The Traxxas Slash, one of the big weaknesses of a stock Traxxas Slash is there's hardly any adjustments at all. So a lot of the modifications I made, like the camber blocks or the shock towers and that kind of thing, are to give it more adjustments. A big part of making a truck or a race kit better is tuning it and getting it to drive the way you like for your conditions, for your driving style, etc. So for the design, I'm definitely going to give it to the Team Associated SC6.1. I don't think there's any question here that it is the better design. It is more flexible, it is more tunable, and obviously a much more modern design. You got the electronics up front, you got the transverse battery rather than the inline battery. You got the mid motor with 3-gear, 4-gear, etc. Lay down, lay back. So a lot more adjustments and much more modern design. Oh, the pill system is a big one. You can actually adjust rear toe, anti-squat, all that good stuff. Basically adjust some pills. So design-wise, the Team Associated. Next category is performance. And so this is the big one, right? This is the one you really want to know. Does the Traxxas Slash perform better than the SC6.1? Well, let's kind of get into the different subcategories of performance. So the Traxxas Slash, some of the advantages actually of this truck are there's a lot of rear traction. The rear motor basically squats quite a bit, a lot of weight on the back tires. You can definitely drive this truck forward a lot better in lower traction conditions. Get a lot of drive out of this truck. It's also quite stable. It's about 130 grams heavier than the Team Associated SC6.1. So it's just kind of easier, more forgiving to drive. In terms of jumping and landing, it jumps okay. It actually lands fairly well with these TLR shocks. The TLR shocks are actually better than Team Associated shocks. I didn't make any adjustments or improvements with like machine Delrin pistons or anything on the Team Associated shocks, but the TLR stuff is quite a bit better in that respect. So where does the Team Associated excel? It's cornering. There is way more corner speed in the SC6.1. It's lighter, it's more nimble, it's more precise, a lot more steering as well. The mid-motor layback transmission obviously gets the weight a lot lower and more forward. So overall, the Team Associated is really a much lighter, nimbler truck. It also flies quite a bit better. It's just lighter in the air. Landing, it's quite good as well. I'm not sure, it's a little bit lighter in landing, whereas the shocks I think on this are a little bit better, so it's just a little more plush. But overall, in most cases, the Team Associated is better, except for, I think, basically under acceleration. The Team Associated, you're always kind of trying to tune in a little more rear traction, so that's why I'm running the brass C-block. That's why I'm running more weights here in the back. I actually added a little more extra rear toe in, so that's kind of the weakness of this truck. Obviously with the mid-motor lay-back transmission, you gain corner speed sort of at the expense of rear traction. So performance-wise, I think the Team Associated is a lot better in just about every way. The Traxxas Slash actually is in some ways easier to drive because it's more stable, but it's just not quite as agile, not quite as precise, and a little more of a handful to drive around the track because it tends to kind of want to pendulum swing the rear end a little bit more in U-turns and under braking, that kind of thing. So performance goes to the Team Associated. Next category is durability. So is there an area where the Traxxas Slash is better than the Team Associated? Definitely in the durability compartment. I mean, this thing is pretty much indestructible. I don't think I've broken a single thing on this truck in like a year. It's built for bashing. It can take a beating, especially with these upgrades like the STRC hinge pins and the aluminum caster blocks and these really thick Pro Track arms. I mean, it's almost indestructible. The bumpers are beefier. The body posts can take a beating a little bit more. The Team Associated, as you can tell, the arms are thinner. The plastics are thinner. I've broken more things on this than the Slash. I've actually broken the bumper here in the front. I've broken some of the body post mounts and stuff like that. So it's not quite as durable. It's obviously not meant for smashing into walls and stuff, but this is an area where definitely the Traxxas Slash is better. In the durability compartment, there's no comparison. The Slash is better. Next category is value. So this Slash, after it's all said and done, is somewhere around $1,000. The Team Associated SC6.1 retails for $329, and then you'll have to add electronics, so you end up somewhere between $500 and $600 all in. So actually more than that once you include the tires and wheels and stuff. So still, there's no comparison to value. The Team Associated is going to be cheaper overall. It's going to perform better overall. The Traxxas Slash, to get to this stage, you're basically buying every single part and slapping it all together, and that ends up being quite costly. So in the value department, definitely the Team Associated SC6.1, and I'm going to give it that my pick in that category. Moving on, let's talk about support. So in terms of support, the Traxxas Slash, actually you can get parts just about everywhere. Your local hobby store, your local racetrack, tons and tons of support. A lot of aftermarket parts as well. You can basically, as I've done, basically replace every single component on this truck. So a lot of support, and that's actually one of the areas I think Traxxas does a really good job. Their customer service is really good. Their parts availability is really good. Nothing really goes out of stock. Team Associated, occasionally stuff will be out of stock. You won't be able to get replacement parts. The parts are not going to be as widely available. So I picked the Traxxas Slash as having the advantage in the support category. Last category is maintenance. So which one of these is easier to work on? Definitely the Team Associated. Everything is easily accessible. The servo, the transmission, you can basically take apart without removing it out of the chassis. It's just a really easy truck to work on, and that's actually one of the big improvements they made in the 6.1 series of vehicles. Traxxas Slash is still kind of an old school design. I mean, getting at this transmission basically requires tearing apart the entire back end, the bumpers, the axles, I'm sorry, not the axles, but underneath the arms, the shock towers, everything has to be completely removed to get at that transmission, and it's quite laborious. So overall, definitely the Team Associated is an easier truck to work on. So at the end of the day, what's the conclusion? Traxxas Slash was really fun to work on. It was a really fun build. It ended up being quite expensive overall, which is something I expected. It performs 10 times better than a stock Traxxas Slash. It is kind of the OG two-wheel drive short course truck that's kicked off an entire segment of the market. So it was a really fun build. I learned a lot overall. But at the end of the day, it doesn't drive as well as the Team Associated SC6.1, and I think that's no surprise, right? If it did, Team Associated would just copy this truck and just build one of these and race this. But the SC6.1 is the latest. It is the best, arguably, short course truck on the market today. It's going to be the fastest. It's going to compete really, really well. If you just want to race, definitely just pick one of these up. If you want something to kind of do both, do bashing, do some light racing at the club level, I mean, you can definitely get one of these, build one yourself, and have fun doing it. And I think that's really the draw of something like this. You get to build it and customize it yourself to exactly how you want the truck to be, and actually maybe you learn something along the way. Whereas the SC6.1, the really funny thing about race kits nowadays is I think people will just throw it together. They work so well out of the box, they don't really understand or have to sort of be forced into learning about what all the adjustments do and how it will actually affect the way the truck drives. And that's something that's sort of invaluable about building this truck. I mean, I had to figure things out myself and get to drive the way I thought it should drive. So overall, my pick is still the Team Associated SC6.1. There's really no reason from any sort of logical point of view to build yourself a race kit. It's better to buy one, But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it. That's my comparison review between these two trucks, and I hope you enjoyed it. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel. As always, hit the add notifications button, share the videos, whatever, and look for more videos soon. Thanks.